Welcome to Digital Hospitality. I am your host, Sean Walchef. This is a Cali BBQ media production. Today is September 16th, 2020, still during the coronavirus, and really, I can't thank these guys enough. These are two of the hottest men in tech company startup on the globe. Don't laugh about it. I'm dead serious. We're here in San Diego. We're in Bankers Hill. We're at Cloudbeds headquarters, right? Cloudbeds headquarters, and this is Adam Harris, Richard Castle, both co-founders. It was me. I asked them to come to their office, even though they have been working remotely. Even the founders, they've been working remotely since really March 17th, I believe. And what we want to do here on Digital Hospitality is talk about the online world, the offline world, the technology that blends the two, but also just give you an idea of what it's like to be an entrepreneur, growing company, and the things that all of us are dealing with. Coronavirus being one of them, office space. This is brand new office space, and these guys are very busy, so hope you guys enjoy the show. Adam, welcome to Digital Hospitality.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, Richard.
Thank you.
So last time we had Adam on the podcast, the Behind the Smoke podcast. Company was growing. That was 2 years ago. And now, how many employees do we have?
420.
420, all over the globe.
Yeah, 37 countries.
37 countries. And how many in headquarters downtown?
35, roughly.
Yeah,
35. So are you guys ready to show us what is the
be
headquarters?
It's going to be
Haven't
quiet.
been in a while.
It's going to be quiet in there.
Let's go. Let's go check it out.
I don't even know if my key still works.
So when did you get the office space?
About a year ago, and really, as part of some recent funding, we were looking to expand it and put it to use, and then COVID came in, and I think this is my first time being here since March.
Yeah. I've never been inside.
How many square feet?
10,000.
10,000?
10,000 square feet.
Yeah.
So the plan was to have how many employees in 10,000 square feet?
I mean, we could fit over 100.
Fit over 100. But this is headquarters. You have workers all over the globe, which is something we will talk about on the podcast because we want to talk about remote work and kind of the new economy that's being created by what's happening with space. So let's go in and see. Thanks for letting us into headquarters. You still paid the electric bills?
We still pay the
Still paid
Apparently
the
we
electric
do.
bills? Good. So can you guys give us kind of a tour, a behind-the-scenes tour, when somebody comes in, they want to learn about your company, what you're doing, and potentially work here in San Diego as part of your company?
I mean, when we originally first walked into the space, it actually had about 12-foot ceilings, and this whole sort of middle section, you couldn't even see that far wall.
Okay.
So it was an old 22-year-old architecture firm that had just walls on walls on walls. And Rich and I talked, and we said we wanted a place where not only our employees felt comfortable, but also we could bring the community and host events with other entrepreneurs. That was really important to us. And we also wanted to have as many private spaces as possible. So we had a bunch of built-in meeting spaces. We have office spaces for some of the leaders. We sort of isolate employees as much as possible so they feel like they have their own spot. We have a 2,000 square foot patio in the back that hasn't been used ever, pretty much. We were all looking forward to using it during the summertime for the first time, and then
I show people the keg,
Let's go see it. Come on, let's see it.
And I show them the ping pong table back there.
Ping pong table's good. Kegs are good. Games are good. Indoor trees are good.
I don't think there's anything on tap anymore here.
I think these were.
I think they're over.
So can you guys, based off of your experience, kind of tell us how Silicon Valley has built out tech spaces and what the idea was before and what you think the idea is going to be moving forward?
Well, I don't think office spaces can be what they used to be. You no longer can have food services, coffee services, water service, whatever. And as a result of that, even for us, we used to have snacks everywhere and food and beer on tap, at any given time that we would rotate frequently. There'd always be some kind of ping pong match that would be challenging.
We have a leaderboard at the office.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
it
great.
is just,
We have a
it's
ping pong
fun.
leaderboard.
We have shuffleboard in the back. We have 2 arcade games. We have fully loaded Xbox. I mean, this was about, having fun at work and, bringing out the child in us a little bit and not just being always adult time. That's kind of gone to waste. It's sad. And I don't know how long we'll be here like that, but at some point this will return to normal and we'll get back to that old way.
So what kind of tough decisions are you guys making as far as leases go, as far as expansion? I know you have other offices around the globe as well.
Yeah, I mean, Rich, you want to talk about Spain?
Yeah, we're in the process of putting an entity in Spain, right? So it's going to help us with hiring and recruiting staff, especially engineers there. It's a hot place to hire in Europe, and we wanted to put an office there too. And so we're kind of like thinking, should we do that right now? Should we hold off on the office? I think we're going to go forward with the entity just for hiring, but everyone's going to be remote right now.
Okay.
So yeah,
So no actual physical space.
definitely not right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe in the future, maybe 2022. I don't know.
It's certainly interesting to think about physical space. We're in the process of opening a ghost kitchen location, and that's 200 square feet when our restaurant's 5,700 square feet. But the physical space is important when you're talking about just the online, like the online world, like a post office. Like, where are they going to deliver the mail? If you don't have the physical space, how do you guys deal with issues like that?
Well,
What's the workaround?
I mean,
PO boxes?
Yeah, I mean, we've never really got caught up in some of those details. Even this office, I mean, has been used again as an opportunity to bring people around the world. So we have a condo downtown that is available to any of our staff to use. We have the same thing happening in Sao Paulo, Brazil. So it's basically
We had an employee fly to Sao Paulo. He was supposed to stay a couple weeks, and he kind of got caught, like stuck in Brazil, and we just rented him the place. He's been stuck there for months.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, it sucks for him, but
It sucks
there's
for him,
worse
but
places
yeah,
to
but
be
that's
stuck.
what we've done. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but the goal is to have like 25, 50 of those around the world, where our staff, who we all love to travel, and being able to just fly into one of your favorite cities and know that you have a nice place to stay, and place that's secure and also a great place to work, is part of the sort of DNA of this culture. But I think my favorite thing would be coming in the office and looking at the shared calendar and be like, oh man, Diego's in town, or Claudia's in town, or whoever, right? And it's just a constant flow of energy coming and going. I mean, we're a team of 420, like we said, with 37 countries. That's a lot of different languages, a lot of different cultures, and that's part of our identity. Not having that anymore, it just forces us back to technology, and we're on Zoom pretty much 9 hours a day. So this was a space where a lot of our product and engineers were sort of working in. Obviously, it's been reduced in the number of desks and given a lot more space as a recent anticipation of if we ever open this again. But all of our product leaders were sort of working from here at one point in time. Not anymore. You can see some fun posters that our head of design has done for staff.
That's impressive work.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. You actually hand drew all that stuff.
Wow.
Patio is going to be awesome. We've had one barbecue in total, even though it's just such an incredible space out here. And as you can see, there's a lot of dirt and dust since no one's used it.
What are your thoughts around just commercial real estate, and what do you see people doing moving into the future?
I mean, Pinterest just spent $97 million breaking their lease in South San Francisco because they've gone fully remote. I mean, if that's any indication of what more will come, I think if we could break the lease, we would consider it. But we put a lot of time and energy in this, and we're going to use this for other things in the future. But I mean, we were remote prior to having the office. We'll continue to be remote, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll definitely want to talk more about the things that you have been leading the way with remote, because it's something that everyone's doing now, even schools and kids. And I mean, I'm spending time on Zoom, and I never thought I would. So, but yeah, let's go see the rest of the spot.
Let's do it. Well, after we spent a year in here,
Yeah.
if we could go back and redesign it,
Yeah.
we would have made all of these offices about a fifth the size,
Yep.
sort of like your ghost
More.
kitchen concept, and had more private spaces so that everyone felt like they had their own little office.
Yeah, correct, right?
And I feel like that's going to be the future. And
So
so
it's
in
like
hindsight,
cubicles are coming back, except like,
but it's not a cubicle. It's like
not a
it's your
cubicle,
own
it's
little
own
space, because
Yeah.
none of us need the amount of space that we
I
have.
could have had 2 people in my office.
Yeah. I mean,
3, 4.
and that's the thing. Like in hindsight, it's 2020, but we definitely learned a little bit of things of what you like and what you don't like. But our favorite part of this whole space is we have these epic double ping pong matches. God, I miss those.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
We have a whole game room back there that's
Yeah, let's go check it out.
closed up.
So you guys have won a lot of different big awards for workplace culture, which is something that's always a hot button topic. How do you recruit? How do you make people feel purpose driven in what they're doing?
Yeah.
What is your philosophy behind purpose driven work at Cloudbeds?
All of that stuff happened remotely. It happened outside of the office. I think before we even had an office, we started getting our first awards. I think it's making people feel engaged. So they feel engaged with the company. They have a purpose. And we've tried to create a workplace where when they get up in the morning, they have a purpose to come to work. They feel like they're changing travel. They're changing the world. They're doing something for people that love to travel and hotels and hosts all over the world. So I think that was a huge part of what we did. Feedback, right? We use Office 5 a lot. So we use a lot of tools for employees to give us feedback and provide feedback to leadership so that we can make changes. Yeah.
I think, it's super interesting when you look at a tech company that's here, that's growing on a global scale, but then we all get so complicated in everything that we do that we forget, like, well, what exactly are we doing? What is the basics of our business? And, the basics of your business would be what?
I mean, for us, we're a technology company. We always have been, right? We write code, and that code translates into software, and that software gets shipped and delivered to hotels and hostels and vacation rental brands. I mean, you name it, everything in between, all over the world. So we crossed 157 countries last year with users, which is absolutely insane. I didn't even know there was that many countries in the world. I mean, literally every second, thousands of dollars are flowing into our properties. And that's the result of our technology. And so, like, if we're trying to sort of shrink that down into what do we offer, we're basically sliding this box box that has everything you need to run your business. Very similar to what you guys employ as a restaurant. Toast is running your business. Yeah. And so Cloudbeds is the sort of brain and hub that sits inside these hotels, and they power their business, they connect to their guests, they run their reports, they help with their accounting, they take their payments, you name it. And we made that really simple and easy for them to do.
Yeah, it's incredible because I re-listened to the podcast that we did 2 years ago, and we actually talked both about Slack, about what did you mention? The
Office 5.
Office 5, which you integrate with Slack. Yeah. We also talked about Toast, and at that point we had Aloha, and it wasn't until the pandemic that we were actually at the point where we need to fix the customer side of mobile ordering. So, like, I need to be able to update our mobile side of our website so that I can put the photos I want, I can get the information I want. We've gone live with Toast. It's been 1 week. Now we're looking at the back end, the data that we never had before for 13 years, serving Spring Valley, like serving all these amazing customers that we could have, said thank you. Thank you for coming in. Had no idea, we had a loyalty program, we had a gift card program, but it's the software that is really enabling people to do what they do best. And I think that's what's exciting about what you guys do, is you're doing that for so many different sizes of hotels, which ultimately gives people a better travel experience.
I mean, Sean, it's really interesting. So, like, Aloha's an incumbent, right? Yeah. Just like Opera or Micros is an incumbent in our space. In many ways, it held you back, right? Yes. And so we recently displaced Opera as the platform that's being taught in classrooms at one of the most prestigious hospitality schools in the world. So, like, we're almost sort of canceling the history lesson. Yes. and sort of pushing them forward to what the future is, and we're obviously part of that future. So a lot of breakout rooms. Again, we do everything on Zoom, so we hook these things up for Zoom rooms. So anyone could come in here and call anyone in the company, just like you would have a one-on-one, and it was super simple to do.
We have a rule: if not everyone's in the same physical room,
yeah,
you can't have someone call in remote and put them on a TV screen. Everyone has to be in the room, or everyone has to be on Zoom remotely in the office.
Why is that?
because it makes people that aren't in the office feel excluded.
Yeah.
And we're building a remote culture. So the office the office culture is a secondary culture to the remote culture, which comes first, right? Which is really how we were set up even before COVID.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
That's super interesting, because that's essentially digital hospitality. It's the things that we talk about
Yeah.
every week on the podcast. Is restaurant owners, before you open a restaurant, you do this exact, we have our space, every single room of the restaurant, you decorate it, you make sure it's nice, there's tables are there, you put flowers, you put music, you put TVs, you make sure, your menu is ready to go. But we don't do the same thing on the digital space, right? There's all these different platforms, but there's customers there. It's like if somebody walked into a restaurant, I don't care where you are in the world, if someone walks into your restaurant, you're going to take care of them. But now people are walking into different spaces online, yet people aren't getting taken care of. And what you guys are doing is you're enabling the hotel to actually take care of those guests, not miss them.
It's funny you mention that, because I've had just incredible experiences before COVID sitting in restaurants and eating. And some of these restaurants have popped online, like to offer online ordering during COVID. And I've ordered food, and it's been a horrible experience.
Yes.
Like the food was like an hour and a half late. They gave me someone else's order. They weren't nice on the phone. I didn't get the whole like experience that I used to have. And so there really are just two different interfaces, right? That you have to make the same experience for customers no matter where they are, right?
I mean, I think that's the most exciting part, is that companies like what you guys are doing, because it's about integration, right? If you don't integrate with all, like, you can't be the end all be all. You guys have done an amazing job doing that, but you built your platform to build on the backs of giants, right? To build on the backs of, how do we use this thing? How does somebody that's running a Four Seasons hotel or someone that's running a hostel, how do you use this to get the most out of everything that you're doing on all those different things that we need to do to run our business, right?
I mean, I think what I get most excited about is our property owners no longer have to think about the day-to-day of technology.
Yes.
Because the technology is taking steps away from what they were used to. So like all those manual processes, we're automating majority of them. 80% of them we've automated. We're going to continue to do more and more over time. Rich and I were talking about registration of guests, right? In the contactless world, just showing up and walking straight to your room is probably ideal, especially if we're in the middle of a pandemic. The more and more we can automate, the better. But what's really interesting is by doing that, it frees up the hoteliers to no longer focus on the operational side and then get back to its root, which is hospitality, taking care of the guests. So we've actually seen some really incredible brands that are nearly 100% occupied right now, despite everything that's going on. And they're running with 2 people. So the technology at Cloudbeds is literally picking up the slack for a lower count of employee or staff. And that's driven by technology. The other interesting thing is you've also seen these brands transform into storytelling. So with their own digital brand, they're now putting you at front and center. They're no longer sort of just showing a photo of a room. They're putting people in the room so that you can almost visualize staying in that room because there's less communication happening in the normal sort of scope of the world. And like that's awesome. Like that's the future. It's about experience. And I think Rich and I, as avid travelers, want more of that. Like Rich and I were talking yesterday. He's like, I can't wait to just get on a plane and go somewhere fun. Mm-hmm. And feel comfortable and get out there and travel. We spend a month or more every year traveling, and we haven't done that since.
Yeah, just before COVID, I mean, I was in Bali in Indonesia for our director of sales' 40th birthday, and there were about 25 people that flew in from all over the world from Cloudbeds to be at that guy's birthday party. And that was really the last like international experience I had with Cloudbeds. And I came back to San Diego, and pretty much COVID hit, about a month and a half, 2 months later in lockdown. And that was it.
Yeah.
Oh man, this was my favorite room, and we never get to use this anymore.
Never stop wandering.
Yeah, that's one of our call to action.
One of your call to actions.
So this
was a great room.
We always envisioned big
great table.
You don't need to talk in past tense. It is a great room. It still is a great room.
It is a great room.
But
it's a great room.
But I appreciate the honesty. It is like
it feels like it's been years.
But this was our boardroom.
This is the boardroom, the war room.
This is the war room. We've had some awesome meetings.
We've had many intense discussions here.
Good partnership calls.
What are you discussing? So what are the conversations always centered around? I mean, obviously in business there's all kinds of different things, but is there any story in particular, big success, somebody you brought in that?
We finalized our big $82 million financing in this room.
$82 million was finalized here.
Yeah.
What was the final push? What did they need to be convinced of?
They just wanted to know that we're normal, fun, cool guys, and that happened right after this meeting and over beers from the keg.
Right before COVID.
Yeah.
Really?
Literally.
Yeah, March 3rd. So, yeah, I mean, like, this was going to be our room to showcase, like, employees. We have all our awards up there, and even then, that's only half of them because we keep winning them despite COVID happening. But
I mean, every time I check LinkedIn, you guys are getting nominated for, what, Ernst & Young. This is second year in a row.
Yeah,
right?
that's happening right now.
Entrepreneur of the Year. That's phenomenal. I mean, it's got to be humbling to think about when you started on a napkin traveling. Right?
Yeah.
Tell us how that happened.
I mean, you mentioned that it makes for a better guest experience. We actually started Cloudbeds as guests, as travelers. Adam and I both traveled around the world and had spent years traveling, and I was traveling in Brazil, just north of Rio, and was trying to make a reservation for a little posada, a little B&B, and there was just no availability online. This is 2 years before the World Cup, and you would Google and look at these properties and you'd see these great little places with photos, but you couldn't make a reservation. And you'd call and no one would answer the phone, and finally, I found a place that had some rooms available, and he said, "Hey, just deposit money into my bank account with cash, and I'll secure your reservation." And I was like, "This is crazy! Like,
that sounds good."
It sounds like a good
exactly.
deal for you.
I'm from the U.S. Like, I barely speak any Portuguese at all. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm not going to put money in your bank account. Like, this is crazy, right? And so Adam and I kind of put our heads together and said, at the time, let's build. We called it Open Table for Travel.
Okay.
Just put a little widget on their website to make a reservation and take a payment, and that's kind of how Cloudbeds started in Brazil in 2012.
That's crazy. And then what was the next? Because it goes from an idea to get us to the next stage of the company.
To be honest with you, I think it was some people that we added. We started recruiting folks from the industry, and they really helped polish the original concept into the sort of early workings of what Cloudbeds is today. And that's because we don't know shit about
running a hotel. Yeah. Right. You've been to a hotel. Doesn't mean you know.
I mean, we've got good experiences and really bad ones.
I've watched a lot of football. I don't know how I can't play in the game. I can't play in the game.
That's right. And so we started surrounding ourselves with just unbelievable people who are still here today. And they're part of the original team. Some of them are in Brazil. Some of them are in the U.S. Some of them are in Eastern Europe. I mean, really, there's kind of a handful of everywhere. And together, we had battles over what was next and long discussions. People lost hair. I still lost hair. I still haven't grown it back. But
I'll never forget when we built the calendar.
Yeah,
it was kind of like the main control panel that hotels use to manage their property. We just had huge battles for weeks and months, like in a room like this, a lot smaller, in a much smaller office, like actually down the street. But just a lot of creative energy, a lot of intense conversations flowing about what to do there.
What was the argument over for the calendar?
Just design,
just the look and the feel, and like it's not good enough. Like
needs to do more.
It's too similar to what's out there. Like it's not good enough, right? Just kind of raising the bar, challenging the status quo. That's something that we always do at Cloudbeds.
And no one's, and even like fast forward 3 years, no one's come close to our calendar.
Yeah,
we make small improvements to it every year, but it is known to the industry, and we're about to launch a brand new sort of concept around it over the next couple of years. And we'll just push the competition so far back because we've learned so much about what works and what doesn't work. And that's a testament to this technology team, which is made up of product and technology experts. I mean, they are the center of this organization. And we spend a lot of money sort of building that team out, but they're the ones who carry us forward and make the sales team look easy and the marketing team, look even easier. And at the end of the day, they're sort of our lifeline, and then customer success holds it all together.
Give me an example of customer success and also the feedback loop from the customer.
Well, I mean, it starts really It starts from day one when we say market managers, our sales team starts talking with a customer or find somebody that's interested in Cloudbeds. From that first conversation to the full life cycle of the customer journey at Cloudbeds, like when they move from the sales team, they move to an onboarding coach. We used to call it implementation. We changed the name.
Onboarding coach is much better.
It's human, right?
Yeah.
You implement a machine. You don't implement a human, right? So we just changed it to onboarding. We rebranded everything to onboarding, and they go through an onboarding process with about 10 calls with an onboarding coach. And then they go from there into our customer coach team, which is kind of a reactive team to help them if they have questions. They go into Cloudbeds University so they can watch videos, they can read about content, with Cloudbeds and things they need to learn the tool. But I think it's constantly being there for them in touch points, like where you can make a difference in the customer's journey. I think that's customer success. And then that feedback that you talked about, like what is the customer saying to improve the product?
Yeah.
What are they saying to improve the way we talk to customers, right? So we're constantly improving, right? It's one of our core values. We say Kaizen, which is these constant improvements. It's a Japanese term, right? Constant 1% improvements. We say every day, every week, right? Constantly improving. So I think that feedback loop is really important.
It's funny, sometimes we get graded on sort of the standard in the industry, just like you guys get graded on a restaurant standard or experience standard within a restaurant. Same thing happens for success, right? How fast are you at returning an email or a phone call? How satisfied they were with that session with one of our members? What's the net promoter score, meaning the willingness to refer a product? All these sort of industry benchmarks. And oftentimes we'll find ourselves with numbers that are just absolutely industry leading.
Yeah.
And yet we don't get credit because we don't take a phone number as a way to call us because we think it's inefficient.
Yeah.
And so we're re-educating not only our industry, but also technology companies on better process in aggregate. Because it's an old way versus a new way. New way doesn't necessarily mean it's worse. In most cases, it's better. It's more innovative.
Yeah.
And as a result, like our success team is the best in the industry. Like hands down, no one would even fight that. Best CSAT scores, best NPS scores, and as a result, we have an internal staff that has an incredible score just wanting to work at Cloudbeds. Right? We have this terminology called bleeding blue. And that's because Rich and I have always put emphasis in the team. If the team's happy and they take care of our customer will take care of the business naturally. And it's something that we are really proud of, and that really carries over into our success team. I mean, those guys bleed blue.
Yeah, we even track employee NPS as a metric.
Yeah.
So we pulse the employees every week to ask them how they're feeling. Would they recommend their friends and family to Cloudbeds to work here? Right, we track those all the time over the last several years, and if it's dipping at all, we try to figure out why and make improvements.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating, especially for me, on the net promoter score, especially because now that we're in expansion mode, we're doing things that we haven't done for 13 years. So now I'm going out and getting bids and getting equipment bids, getting bids for catering truck, getting technology bids. The question is no matter what the industry, does it always have to be that way? Like, is there a better way to do it? Just because we did it that way, do we continue have to do it that way? And that's something I appreciate what you said is like, you guys are recognizing that even in tech, even in a way that we're scoring something, does that mean that that's the way that it has to be? Because things change frequently. I mean, the rate of change that's happened, since the first iPhone came out in 2007, I mean, it's nuts when you think about it,
I think there's a breakdown. If you have the best product and someone's not willing to refer it on to someone else, you have a problem with the product. Doesn't matter how good it is. The same thing with a restaurant. If the food's great, but yet for something is missing and people aren't constantly engaging and sharing with that brand, you've got a problem with your product. And that's something where we've built an ambassador team. That ambassadors, they don't work for us. They refer a business and they're advocates of our business, and in many cases they don't want compensation. They just want their customers or their whatever their relationship with the product to just do better. There's a lot of that in this industry, and that's pretty exciting. But
well, let's go check out the rest of the office. I've got a couple more questions for you guys and let you get back to it.
So this was
Yes.
you'll love
it.
this.
I
You
love
guys,
this.
you will love this.
I'm all about this. Is great.
So-
I approve all of this.
So we
I
had
don't know what Aaron thinks, but the idea of this I like.
all these grand plans
Okay, tell me.
for Rich and I to use this for interviewing our own team about culture, right? A product, again, is built by humans, just like Rich said. You don't implement a human, you onboard a human. Same thing, our team is humans. We have stories that we need to tell, we have expertise that we need to share. And we had this whole concept of a digital series of videos and thought leadership and interviews, and we spent all this money and time. We've never once used this except for when Rich and I announced our financing. When we did our financing.
Why? What was the
COVID?
Oh, it's COVID.
Yeah.
Okay, so it wasn't the idea of creating media.
No, it's just it
was just because
this was we literally
Just built this thing.
just built it on like February, finished it. All the equipment showed up, and we used it for the first time on like March 2nd.
So this is a story I tell on the podcast. I tell it to anybody that's willing to listen. But the reason that I care so much about the smartphone, I care about digital, I care about where media is going, where technology is blending in between business and between what we're trying to accomplish. All these great purposes. Is Adam really demystified the internet for me. I don't have a tech background. I went to school
Cali,
for sociology, but I was so frustrated that I couldn't fix our website to update it for Fight Night. Because I didn't know much, but I knew that search engine optimization, if I got Mayweather and Pacquiao were fighting in San Diego and I got that content on the site, when somebody started searching, I wanted to pop up on the first page. And Adam put us on WordPress, him and his brother, they sat us down, they go, listen, if the platform, if the platform isn't good enough for you to do it yourself and it's not functional enough, it will not succeed.
Nope.
And ever since he said that, I took that philosophy to Facebook, to Instagram, to Twitter, to you name the platform. Yeah. But he's right all the time. Yeah. It's like, but we get so in our own way about a certain app or a certain tool on the internet. Yeah. What is your guys' advice, or what kind of resistance do you see from hotel operators that we've done it for this long in our family for forever? Why do we need Cloudbeds?
Oh man, it's generational.
I think it's hard to change habits. But
I think people look at PMS as
PMS is what?
PMS is a property management system.
Property management system.
Property management. So we hate that term. We think
PMS is not the best.
Well, besides your innuendo, the concept of a property management system is something that's been around since the 80s, right? Ever since like DOS prompt and things. Well, I guess that was post 80s, but whatever. Ever since the sort of first systems that were digitalizing a pen and paper. Mm-hmm. So there used to be in hotels this big wall where they would write in the name where a guest was staying. It was called a tape chart.
Really?
And prior to that, if you go back to the antiquities days, like they had registrations of people coming and going for trading routes. And so you can take this all the way back to like 600 AD. And then the first record keeping or like legal requirement was in France in the 1600s. And they actually forced someone to write down where they were from and why they're there and how long. And that became the sort of digital record keeper. We've obviously digitalized all of that, but 33% of the population of hotel operators are still on pen and paper.
Really?
Around the world. 33%. And that's shrinking, thankfully.
Yeah.
But even of the sort of large majority that is using some type of technology, 9 out of 10 of them are still on a desktop software, meaning it's some type of on-premise. It has no connectivity to cloud. So if you are trying to check in without touching anyone and go completely contactless, 9 out of 10 properties can't do that right now. Mm-hmm. And that's what we want to fix, right, over time. So I think it's a generation, or as generations change, as families pass it on to a new blood or a new owner, Cloudbeds will continue to excel.
That's super exciting. What do you do when you get frustrated with technology? Just personal technology. I mean, I'm talking like things not working properly. I mean, it's hard for us. We were talking about it before. It's hard to remember how far we've come, how fast.
I don't know what's going on right now, but Google Maps for me has not. I have an Android. It has not been working. I made an update on my Android operating system, and it has not been working for months.
Yeah.
and I've gone online and like searching other people having the same problem, and it's literally like horrible.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like that's how I get somewhere that I've never been, right?
Right.
I use Google Maps and I just take it for granted. It just works. I just turn my phone on, I put the address, and I click where I want to go, and it just takes me there, and it's not working. It's just not updating. But I think it's frustrating, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what to do without it.
Who are you going to call? Who's listening, right?
I don't
And
know.
guarantee Google's
well,
not listening.
But I mean, I think that's a great.
There's no one that will solve this problem for me.
But that's a great point. It's because some of those companies have gotten enormous in a quick amount of time. I mean, we think it's been around forever, but it's really not when you look at the grand scheme of things. But it's as you scale, as you get bigger, how responsive are you? I'm curious how responsive to restaurant tech partners. How are they going to listen to me? Because it's not just me and my general manager and our operational team. If they fix what is an issue for me, possibly it's an issue for every single other single unit, restaurant. Maybe it's a different product that even a small business, like the opportunities are there, but it's a matter of the feedback and the responsiveness of the tech company to go, hey, this is actually something that makes sense.
I mean, Rich reminds me about this a lot. We're a global company.
Yes.
We have a global customer base. We always have to build for the largest population of properties. So any new feature we do has to be universal. And we've really done a great job as sort of sticking towards that pillar, because throughout COVID, Cloudbeds has grown despite our industry has shrunk. And that's because we have pockets of properties all over the world. So when they excel versus another part of the world that's not excelling, like it kind of balances itself out. And that sort of global approach, that global footprint really unlocked opportunity for us throughout this sort of trying time. And we've stayed true, super focused, and a little bit of luck along the way has carried us to where we are right now.
That's super exciting. What's the current plan for, obviously it's the same thing I say. I don't have the answers to COVID. Every single day I'm going to do the best job I can building a digital restaurant infrastructure for the future of our industry so that we can continue to grow and do things in a way that has never been done before because it cost us too much money. That's why I'm so excited to do that. What are you guys excited about for the future of Cloudbeds?
I think it's continuing our multinational, global. I mean, Cloudbeds. It's the embodiment of globalization. I mean, we really are.
Yeah.
This was before COVID. I mean, this was in 2012. I was in Brazil. Adam was in the U.S. I mean, we had to learn to be in an office. It wasn't natural for us. I mean, even before Cloudbeds, we didn't have an office.
Yeah.
We worked together for years.
Yeah.
I think it's taking that to the next level. What does it look like, right? How do we do this? How do we compete with other companies that are also going remote, right? Like Pinterest that got rid of their office, right? So we used to have that remote culture, and that was a competitive advantage for us, right? Because you could be remote, you could work at Cloudbeds, and you didn't have to sit in an office at Pinterest in San Francisco. Now that they're going remote, like how do we compete with them? What do we do next, right? We shouldn't just accept this remote standard. We need to keep challenging it, new tools, new culture, new ways of doing things to keep, a travel culture, right? That's our industry, right? So how do we encourage people to move around? How do we encourage like nomadic Cloudbeds, experiences? So I think that's kind of our next challenge is trying to stay competitive and keep pushing that forward.
I think the creativity that the people ops team had during COVID, there was opportunity for, if you needed help or needed to talk to, they created avenues or mediums for doing just that.
Yeah.
There were people teaching languages. There were cooking channels in Slack. There were dads with, daughters channels. I mean, like you name it, like thousands of channels for different themes.
Where is this?
This is inside our Slack
within
environment.
your Slack.
Within our Slack.
I'd love for you to talk about Slack because I asked you you mentioned Slack 2 years ago to me. I wasn't aware of it. We used Evernote, which is kind of like Slack, but tell me about Slack, about why you guys use it.
I would disagree with that.
Well, tell me and inform me because I asked Slack, is there an example of a restaurant group or enterprise restaurant that's using Slack? and they went to they couldn't give me any examples. So tell me about
amazing.
Yeah, exactly what I said is I'm not going to be the only one that's going to figure out a way to use Slack for us building out for my managers, for our front of the house staff, for our media team. Once I started using it, I've been using it for 4 days, and I can't believe how great it is.
So I look at it from the hotel perspective. So every hotel has some form of paging or headset system, right?
Okay.
Oh, hey, we need someone at front desk or whatever. That conversation's lost immediately once that voice was spoken.
Yes.
And it disappears. There's no audit trail. There's no ability to go back and review the standard of service. And so for me, Slack is just an asynchronous communication hub, right? It gives you the ability to share information. It gives people the ability to get, real-time help. It allows you to connect the docs. It allows you to connect video, whatever it is. It's just a hub. It's just this medium that connects you through type or voice or whatever. And so a restaurant absolutely could harness that today.
It's incredible.
And there's no reason why you need a radio. You still can have your radios, but they need to write it down. And that whole hey, Sean, can you take care of guest at table 7 can be just as quickly typed as it can be spoken. Especially with the fact that all of our devices have built, speech to text. Sometimes fails us, but in most cases it works. Then you have a record of that. You could see that someone did it. You could actually see the interaction. We think that's a huge part of hospitality, whether it's a hotel or a restaurant. And so we love Slack. I mean, I couldn't imagine without it. Hate it at times, but definitely love it.
It's kind of a double-edged sword. It's incredible. You can just go crazy though and use Slack too much, right?
Yeah.
Like if I send someone a message that reports to me and they respond within 20 seconds every time I send that, I kind of think that's odd, right? Like, am I breaking their workflow? Like, are they not working on something? Like, and I think there's a lot of concepts.
But also, if you don't send the message, you'll forget to send the message.
Exactly, right?
It's right as top of mind, so you do it to get it off of your list, and don't forget it.
I think Slack is they've now let you kind of manage your folders and your workspaces, like, so it works for you, but they don't let you kind of prioritize messages yet. Like, I can't say that this is an urgent message or I need you to get to it, right? So sometimes I'll just go off Slack, and if somebody needs to get a hold of me, they can call my cell phone, and I'll get those messages when I get back online, like I used to with email. So I'll batch my Slack responses, kind of like email.
Have you ever given that feedback to Slack, and what have they done with it?
We've given so much feedback to Slack. I think they've probably been doing a lot of infrastructure improvements and just general architecture and technology. They've grown so fast. We're now starting to see some of their product changes,
through feedback early on.
Through feedback, and I think they're going in the right direction. And
it's hard to grasp when we're talking about technology, and we're talking about software like Cloudbeds or Slack, that you guys are as big as you are, but you're nowhere close to how big you will be if you keep growing the right way. If you keep empowering restaurants, small business owners to start using these tools. We're all using a smartphone.
That's right.
I talked to a turf company that's right next to our restaurant, Green Turf Pro, and I'm asking them about how do they do their workflow, and it's all through text messages. So it's, the owner texting 3 sales reps, but their bids, they don't have a cloud-based office, yet they literally could start their cloud-based office by implementing Slack.
Yep.
Oh, that's
100%.
That's a great way to describe it.
But think about that. That's every turf company. That's every landscaping company.
I mean, so we use tools where as soon as a hot lead or an inbound request for a demo comes in, it immediately hits Slack with all the information about the person, so that a one-click phone call out from a sales rep. And instead of having to be constantly monitoring Salesforce or their email to see that a lead came in, it's in seconds. It's already gone from our website into Salesforce into our sales team. It's localized to the person who's actually going to be the one who calls it. I mean, there's technology where we can then, connect Lob. And, what Lob does is it allows you to send a postcard to anyone with a digitalized message without ever having to go to the post office, right? Amazing. And so you can say thank you. So you could do your digital ordering. Someone could order and leave you a review, and you could have a tool that scans it and then sends them a postcard thank you.
It's amazing.
Right? It takes all of your
digital
hand notes. It takes away all those hand notes, but that little bit of connection goes a long way.
Yeah. And because you guys give feedback, we give feedback, but as these companies grow, it's what do we do with that feedback, right? It's how do we implement it in teams? Is it the right feedback? Is it going to actually make the biggest impact? And I think that's the question, right? Are these companies willing to integrate with Toast? If Slack and Toast can figure out an integration on the financial reporting side, that's very valuable to me.
I'm pretty sure they have.
Which means it's very valuable to, lots of other people.
Oh, yeah.
And if they haven't, there's an intermediary that will.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll figure that out.
Yeah.
All right. What else? Anything else, gentlemen? I'm going to let you get back to managing the global technology revolution.
Oh, it's been great.
Yeah.
Thanks for hosting us.
No, we really appreciate it. Cloudbeds, you guys are easily findable online. All the great work that you're doing. I guess the last thing I'll leave it with is what are your words to people that are out of work, that love hospitality, love traveling, and they don't really know I guess the fear whenever we're talking tech, whenever I start talking tech, is people are like, well, that's going to eliminate jobs, which also increases profitability. But I would argue that it's not going to eliminate jobs. It's actually going to make better jobs. I'm going to have a more engaged workforce than I've ever had as we grow Cali Barbecue, because of the way we're growing, is integrating all the things that not just we do on the restaurant side, but that we do in sharing, by doing media, by documenting it. And if people are excited to come to work, then they're going to be excited to share.
Yeah. I mean, I think a couple things, like find a technology company in travel. We're hiring, Cloudbeds, we've actually added people. And the other thing is just keep your hopes up that travel will return.
And it will.
It might be the end of 21, it might be the middle of 21, it might be 2022, but it will return. People like to travel, they want to meet people face to face. I mean, honestly, I was joking, when COVID is gone, hopefully soon, and the world returns to normal, the last place I want to meet people is on a Zoom call.
Yeah.
I just want to sit down and have a beer. Like I just want to be face to face. I don't want to come near Zoom anymore. Right? Yeah. If you throw a virtual conference after COVID, you're going to look like a total idiot. Right?
Yeah. We're going in person.
It better be a joke. It better be a joke.
Seriously, right? It'll be a joke. Yeah. So I think I don't know, it will return, but it's some tough times for travel right now. If you're in the industry, it's really tough.
I mean, we love pulling people out of traditional hotel jobs and bringing them into a technology-centric company. And not only there's experience a million times better because of our culture and the way we do, but it's also the contribution that they can bring to us from their expertise is just limitless. And so there is a lot of companies across the entire landscape that is hiring, to Rich's point, and we're one of them. And love to see resumes.
That's awesome. Right on, you guys. Thanks for listening to the podcast. Thanks for watching us on YouTube. Be sure to check out Cloudbeds and keep
follow us on social media.
Follow Cloudbeds on social media, because they're going to start getting very active on social. From what Adam's telling me. Stay curious, get involved, and don't be afraid to ask for help.